Hey you guys, so welcome to my Living in Houston channel. And if you are new here, this channel is all about what it's like to eat, sleep, play, and party in one of the fastest growing, largest cities right here in the United States of America. If you are not new here, then welcome back. So I drop videos weekly about the Houston real estate market. So if you would like to get notification of when I drop the next video, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. So my name is Thurayah and I'm a real estate agent here in Houston, Texas. And my team and we get hundreds of people reaching out to us daily that are thinking of relocating to the Houston area, and we absolutely love it. So if you're also considering relocating to the Houston area, you can reach my team and we're available by text, email, or you can book a phone call, and all of our information is gonna be below this video. All right, so everyone just keeps asking me about Katy. I don't know how Katy became so popular, but it is. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the cost of living when relocating to Katy, or if you're thinking about buying a house in Katy. So stay tuned for that video. People who are moving to the Houston area seem to really already know about Katy. It is one of the fastest growing suburbs outside of Houston. But if you're not from Houston, I just want to give you an idea where exactly Katy is. I know there's a lot of people watching this video who have already heard of Katy or already reside in Katy, but there might be some people who are relocating and looking for a nice suburb to move into outside of the major city of Houston. So on the map, Katy is, you get to Katy by, if you were, let's just say you're coming from the central area, which is Galleria or downtown Houston, you will get to Katy by taking I-10, the Katy Freeway, and go up I-10 Katy Freeway, and then you'll enter the city of Katy. Now, Katy is about roughly, let's just say the Galleria, since that's a major tourist attraction, as well as an area where not a lot of our nightlife is, in our major shopping district. So without traffic, you can usually enter the city of Katy within about roughly 20 minutes. But with traffic, it usually is about 30 to 40 minutes. If you're coming from the downtown area of Houston, you can enter Katy in about 30 minutes to 1 hour, just depending on the traffic. Katy is considered West Houston. I remember when Katy was nothing but fields, cows, horses, and wildlife. And if you moved to Katy probably before 2004, no one wanted to come visit you. It was considered rural, it was considered super far to most people. And fast forward, now is where a lot of people live, and people who are relocating to Houston already somehow know about and want to live. So it has definitely grown over the years. So just to give you an idea how big and spread out Katy is, Katy has 5 zip codes. So that just should let you know that it is not a small area of town. Just to get from one side of Katy to another side of Katy without traffic is almost 25, 30 minutes. Well, no, about 20 minutes, yeah. And with traffic, it can take you up to 30, 45 minutes just to get from one side of Katy to the other side of Katy, even maybe up to an hour. Katy is really spread out. It is a very open area, so you're not gonna see like a lot of lush, trees. There's trees, but they're not like, it's not enclosed. You can pretty much see like buildings from the freeway. You can see homes. It's not an area like the Woodlands or Spring where it's just like there's tons of tree-lined streets established, and you can't see the home because it's built behind the like the woods and stuff like that. It doesn't look like that. It's very spread out. It's very open. You can see for, it feels like miles away, as far as your eyes can see. So that's what the west side of Houston, Katy, looks like. Katy has all the major stores, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, even though it's way out there, or it's considered, still to some people far. It has all the major restaurants and stores. It has its own mall. It has one of our smaller water parks. So for the kids, with the big old slides for them to go down. So it has some attractions like that, and they have been talking about building a boardwalk out there for several years now. Because it's been so many years that it's been in the works and they've been talking about it, I really just don't have an update on when it's going to be ready or done. But they're talking about building a very major boardwalk with lots of hotels and attractions for families and kids. But other than that, right now, what's going on out there is like I said, it has all the major grocery stores, which our grocery stores are Walmart, HEB, and Kroger's, and occasionally you'll see Randall's. There's Whole Food markets, there's Sprouts for like the health food markets. There's 24-hour fitness, the gym, there's Lifetime Fitness, the gym, and there's tons of other kickboxing and other smaller gyms and what do you call it, cross training type of gyms. So it's like that. It's not really a biker friendly area as far as like you're not gonna see people riding a bike down the street, like unless it's in their neighborhood, like you would have saw when I did the video on like the downtown inner city area where there's more like biking trails and parks and things like that. It's not like that. It's really suburb. You have to have a car. I believe there's one bus station bus transit center that's out there in Katy near the Grand Parkway and 99. But once it drops you off there, you need a car or some way to get to usually a home. I think they might have just recently built some apartments around it, and some restaurants. But other than that, you cannot walk to the average. Well, I mean, you technically can walk if you have the energy and the stamina. But what I mean is it will be very brutal on you to walk to most of the major subdivisions from that transit station. So you're definitely going to need a car or use some type of rideshare service to live in the suburb part of Katy. It is very spread out, like I said before. Now, as far as the housing market goes, I read that Katy has about 30,000 people as of 2023, but there is nothing that visually that tells me that there's 30,000 people living there. The way that the traffic is and the amount of homes and subdivisions that are out there, I cannot imagine that Katy has not already exceeded 100,000 or 200,000 people. Like I said, the internet data says 30,000, but the way that the area looks, I just don't know if those are accurate numbers. So it feels like Katy does have about 100,000 people, maybe not 200, maybe I'm a little off on that, but it definitely feels like it's closer to 100,000. It's a lot of people in Katy. Katy has different sides. Like there's a part of Katy that connects to an area called Brookshire. There's still rural with cows. You'll see cows. You'll see our famous cows called the Longhorns. They got really long horns, of course. That's what they call Longhorns. And there's a part of Katy that connects to Cypress. And there's also a part of Katy on the other side called Cinco Ranch that connects to the Richmond side, Fort Bend County, Richmond side. So there's a Harris County side of Katy and there's a Fort Bend County side of Katy. I would start on a Cinco Ranch side. The Cinco Ranch side of Katy is really, really popular. Even though it's like a section of the Katy area, it is almost like our Sugarland when it comes to housing and pricing. It is a very affluent side of Katy, I would say. But don't think that there's not, in the other 4 zip code, there's not mansions and other big homes over there. I just want you to know, Cinco Ranch is really hard to get in at the average price point of Houston or Katy. It is a very in-demand area with low inventory of houses usually, A-rated school systems, shopping center called La Centera, which we'll take a look at as well. And that is, like I said, a part of Katy that's always been in demand. I believe in 2010 or many years ago, Cinco Ranch was ranked the fastest growing subdivision in America by Forbes magazine. I do remember reading that article. So people love living in a Cinco Ranch part of Katy. There is another part of Katy like I said, that's connected to more like Brookshire area, and that's being developed out right now. I mean, it depends on when you watch this video. It has still a good amount of land where the developers are building subdivisions, but if you go out there, you know, you might see a few coyotes. Very rare though. Of course, there's like snakes and things, you know, we don't really experience in a city, but like snakes. I haven't seen any wild hogs, so I don't know if there's any wild hogs. And be careful, guys. Wild hogs are very deadly and dangerous if you do encounter one. There are deers occasionally, and horses and cows, just like I said, and people who still own farmland and ranches and things like that. So that's gonna be on that side of Katy. Some of the zip codes, I think, is 77450, 77493. So those are still getting developed out, but there's still a lot already there. So don't feel like if you did move out there, if you found a house out there, you like a subdivision or some land out there that you know, you're gonna be so out in the boondocks, there's nothing else there. But it's getting there. There's a major Target that's already come off of 529, brand new development shopping center. It's coming, it's coming, and it's coming fast. There is another part of Katy that's more, a little bit closer in, like the first part of Katy you're gonna hit when you come up I-10 Katy Freeway, it's gonna be like zip code 77449. And that's a really popular part of Katy. That area also has some, like if you're looking, they have the starter home side, and then they have man-gated communities with the luxury $1 million, $2 million plus homes. But overall, Katy, as of the making of this video, of course you're gonna check in with my team and I when you're ready to do something, but as the making of this video, the prices in Katy are averaging about $450,000, and the square feet is about, I wanna say 2,900 square feet. There are still townhomes you can get around that 200 to 300 price point, and there's some older homes on any zip code you choose. There's older homes starting around that 300, 350 price point. But the average in Katy as of this video is $450. Now, of course, if you see this video a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, that's gonna change. So, make sure you're checking in when you're ready to do something, buy or sell, and then we can give you a better idea where the prices are at that point. But Katy, another good thing about Katy is Katy has an older side, but because Katy is still growing, there are so many, it doesn't look old at all. Like if you go to Katy, everything just looks almost new, newer amenities, like newer construction of, whether it's the schools that your kids are gonna go to, or it's the stores and restaurants, everything just looks newer. I remember meeting someone, I can't remember what town they were from or city, but I remember when they were talking to me, they were like, oh my God, you guys, all y'all buildings look brand new. In our town, everything was built, prior to the 90s or something. I don't know if it was a small town in Ohio they were from or something, but they were just saying like how when they came here, they couldn't believe how everything looked so new. And some of the buildings they were pointing to and talking to me about weren't even that new. They were over 20 years old. And so the developers just kept that trend going. So Katy is it's a really nice area, and it looks, it looks brand new, fairly new. And it wasn't that expensive. I remember getting into Katy for the most part for the average family, maybe less than 10 years ago. I know this is not what's going on in the current market, but it was around 100 to 150,000, and that was a brand new home. So other areas of Houston started to become a little bit unaffordable, and then Katy was like developing these newer homes, and then the price point was really good. You were able to get a good size home for your money. Well, fast forward, of course, we know the homes are getting a little bit smaller, the lots are getting smaller, and the price point has gone up significantly. But that kind of drove the growth of Katy many years ago, I believe. It's still peaceful. I mean, there's some rowdier areas of Katy, but for the most part, Katy's it has some really peaceful subdivisions. So I think that, on top of like the schools that are out there and what you get for your money, So that's what's fueling Katy's growth, and I really don't see that slowing down anytime soon. Now, how are people who are not from Houston finding out about Katy or wanting to move to Katy? I really don't know. I haven't quite figured that part out. It's almost like somebody put a TV commercial out in the other states and are like, hey, move to Katy, move to Katy. You know what? When I think about it, it's probably those builders. You know, we got a lot of builders here. They're probably the ones doing it, because it surprises me, like I said before in the video, when people call me and they've never even been here and they're like asking about Katy. And I expect that from someone who's been here before, have family, friends who live here, or maybe their job told them to, come to Katy because that's where the office is. That I understand, but I get some calls and I'm just like, how do you even know where Katy is? And another thing is, even if you are relocating here and you've never visited Houston before, just because someone told you Sugarland, Katy, Richmond, Rosenberg, the Woodlands, you got to kind of figure out, like, where do you want to live and what kind of lifestyle that you live, because you may go to some of these suburbs and it may not have some of the like I said, Katy's it's not like, very like a wooded area like Spring, Humble, and the Woodlands. That's like really heavily wooded. You can't see, like I said, behind the trees to see the subdivisions and the homes. You have to actually go into the subdivisions to see the homes, because the trees line the main streets and cover that up, all the woods, because it was built behind woods. Whereas Katy's open, you can see the houses, the neighbors' houses. It's just like not an open field, but it has that open field kind of look. It's better to describe to us the kind of lifestyle you like to live, that, and the kind of scenery you would like. That would help us narrow down more of the area and the subdivisions to help you find a place. And like I said, unless you already know about Katy or your job is gonna be located in that area. And just keep in mind how spread out Houston is, how spread out our subdivisions are. Like I mentioned before, just to get from one side of Katy to another side of Katy can take you over 30 minutes. So one of the things we always try to ask clients is, where are you gonna work? Are you working from home? Then yeah, you can live almost anywhere. But if you're working in an office that you have to commute to, then you may wanna be closer to your job, versus being way out in Katy. So those are some of the things that we ask clients when they're thinking of relocating to Houston or buying a home in the Houston area, and they're thinking of moving out to the suburb of Katy. Just some more information about their lifestyle and where they're gonna work and what are they looking for when they're buying their new home or relocating. And that helps us narrow down if there's a particular side of Katy that might fit their lifestyle better, or should they be more in the city of Houston. So those are some of the things we can talk about on a call with you. If you are thinking about relocating to Houston or buying a home, you can reach out to myself and my team. We are available 7 days a week by phone, text, or email, and all of our information is gonna be below this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.